Okay, so today we're building a phone book. To build a phone book, we'll focus on having a form and a table below. So we start by going to localhost. And on localhost, our project has been kept in projects. In projects, we have phone book, right? So this is our empty project, this is here empty. So we'll start by creating our index file, index.php, right? Great. We'll see it created here. So if we refresh here, we'll see index.php created here. It has been created, it has been opened, so I'm not seeing anything because there's nothing inside. So we'll just come here and write hello. We should see it here. Right? Great. So the two are working together. Nice. So let's build the interface first. So the form and the table. So I'll come and say HTML5. I want to have the template for HTML, and that's the template for HTML. Good. It has written the code, and we can see. So now let me take it back big. Okay, good. So I will copy this code, Control A, Control X. And in PHP, we're going to be building what we call a controller. Meaning, oops, this is PHP. PHP, good. We're going to be building what we call a controller. Meaning, all our requests will always come into this index file. So here we're just going to say, include home. Include means go and call for a file. Go and pick up a file and bring. So if we call include home here, we'll get an error here because the file has not been included, the file has not been created yet. So come here and create a file called home.php. Good. And then we paste our boilerplate for HTML here. We call this home. You should all be familiar with this now. So by the time I refresh here, error has gone because home has been created, right? So we need, okay, we create our form. So here's going to be for form and here for table. But if we build this just with, if we build this just with, if we build all of this just with HTML and CSS, it won't be beautiful. So we need a library. We're going to use Bootstrap for this exercise. So I'll simply come here and say Bootstrap 3. We use Bootstrap 3. It's old, but it's good to start with. So I'll come to Bootstrap 3 tutorials here, which we are going to be using throughout this tutorial. We'll come to Bootstrap 3. Bootstrap 3 is a CSS library that helps us build fast and good. So my objective is I want to get the source code for Bootstrap 3. This is Bootstrap 3, Bootstrap 5, no. So I will come here, click here, and go to Get Started. On Get Started, they will give us a link. Remember, we're on Bootstrap 3. If you use Bootstrap 4, there will be some differences. But I'm coming here because they'll give us a link to Bootstrap 3. This is asking us to download it. I don't want to download it. I'm looking for this link. Great. So anyhow, I copy all of this and I come here and I add it. This is my link to CSS, right? Good. This is Bootstrap 3.4, right? So if I save this, and the moment I refresh my work, you will see some difference to come in. Good. You see the CSS from this Bootstrap 3. If I should do this to see the source code, there is Bootstrap 3 that's been added to my work. This is Bootstrap 3. So I will not be working online all the time, so I copy all of this code and I come here and I create a folder here called Assets. In Assets, I create another folder called CSS. In CSS, I create a file called bootstrap.min.css and I save that file. So this file, come on, oh my god, I don't know how to get into it. No. To solve this, I simply come back to projects, phone book, I see assets, I see CSS. I created a folder instead of a file, so I should delete it. I delete here. So yeah, I'm supposed to create, in CSS, I'm supposed to create a file called bootstrap.min.css. Great. So I have this file and I paste that code. So here's the source file for Bootstrap 3 that I've pasted here, and I simply save. Then I come back to my project home and I make sure I don't give it an absolute link. No, I give it a relative link. Great. So what am I telling you? I'm telling you that once you're on the root folder, get into assets, get into CSS, and look for bootstrap.min.css. And once you get this file, it's going to style or work properly. So if you come here and refresh, there should be no change. It remains the same, meaning the bootstrap is still there. If I should come here and refresh, the absolute link will change to a relative link. So if I refresh, great. If I click on it, we still see the same code, meaning this code now we don't need the internet to work. Great. So now let's go and build an interface very fast. So if you should be using Bootstrap, you are given a PDF file having the whole documentation for Bootstrap. Those who have not had it will have it later on. So just see what I'll do. So now I'll simply come here because I know how Bootstrap works. I'll come here, container div.jumbotron text center. This is CSS. So I'll come here and say we decided to call it word. Phone book. That's the name of our project. Phone book. So great. Here we're supposed to build div.row, div.column, small 12. Oh, thank you. Div. So here, well, expected to build our form here, right? So let me just call it our form. And we're going to see where. Good. So if I come back here, oops, we don't need you anymore. Come back here, refresh. Good. We're having something like this. So here we need our form. And to have the form in HTML, I'll simply come here, form. Great. It creates a form with the attributes you need, which is action, but we only need the method, right? Method equals to this. So I come here, this is our form. So now in Bootstrap, there's a way to equally build beautiful forms. I just know I have to come here and do div.form group label for our form needs name, number, email, right? So here just do name, lowercase name. Let me hide that bar so that we have our code in perspective. So yeah, I put name. Yeah, I come below here and I put input dot form control. Great. We're having all of these. So let's save this and see what we're getting here. Good. We see name. This was far beautiful than if you had to do and style by yourself. So right now, remember our input needs a name, right? Name and an ID. The ID is going to be name and the name here is going to be name. Good. So here I've created the first input form URI for our table. So we need many of them again. We need for number and email. So 1, 2, yeah, this should do. So name. That's it. On utilise Bootstrap. Si tu veux utiliser Bootstrap, tu dois faire comme Bootstrap a dit, n'est-ce pas? C'est pas moi qui l'ai dit. We are using Bootstrap, so we must do the way Bootstrap wants it. So let's come here and look for form. Because I have used Bootstrap for long, I know how it works. So I come to forms. And you see, everything I'm using here, you see how it structures it. You see so many things up there when it comes to see form group, form control as classes, so that it aligns properly. When you do that, you see it aligns the same way. Great. So I'll come here to name. I want to change the names. Oops. Name. Given that this is what's wrong? Control no alt. Great. I do this to change all of them together. Name number, right? Number. Great. That switched to French. That's why. Great. So number. Great. So come here to given that number should be number. Great. We'll come here for email, right? Email, we do this. Alright, email. Email. I save. When I come here and I refresh, so having something that looks interesting. This takes just a number. This should take a name, and this should take an email, right? Great. Then now let's put some placeholders so that when you come here, you should see an example of the name. So to do that, I simply come here to placeholder equal to, I give it a name. An example of the name, Benabomo. Good. I simply copy this. Given our building it for Cameroon, I'll come to number here, is placeholder. I just say it should start with 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Great. And email address, we give it a sample email address, so we say sample@mail.com. Great. So we'll come here and refresh. Great. You see something like that. Nice. So now what we're expecting us now to do in the end is have our submit button. So the input here is going to be submit. Email here. We really don't need label here, so we could do this. The label has some role to play, so we could do this and great. See how I indent my code. This is to permit me understand what's happening. So I come here, name, I could just say save user, do it this way. And I come to ID here. I really don't need the ID anymore. Class form group, but I might remove it. I don't need a placeholder too. But I need a value. See, that's what will happen. If I save and I come and refresh, I get this button. You see? This button doesn't have a color, but in Bootstrap I can give you the color by coming here and saying BTN. Let's give it a green color. I say success. And I save, I refresh, get a green color. It's writing submit there. That submit is because I'm not giving it a value. So if I want to change that submit, I simply come here and say value equals to save. And it should be save. Wonderful. So we'll build the form. So we'll build the form, I'll build the table, right? Building the table should be easier than this. So we come and we create good. We leave that container, we create another container, div.container. This time around I like to build a container fluid. Div.row and then div.row div.call small screen should be 12. Great. Then here we do the table. So I'll say table.table. Great. Gives us this table. T-head. Good. In T-head we have TR, then we have TH. Our table is made up of what? We have ID, we start with ID. We said we look at edit, we look at delete, we look at what else? Edit, delete, name, email. Is it number before email? No. Email and number. Great. We save that and we'll look at our table. Good. See a beautiful table coming up. So we'll come and give our table a name. So come here and just say h3.text center. We'll call it users table. Create our users table. So now that was our T head.
Mais c'est comme vous avez mis en majuscule.
Oui.
Sont obligés d'être en majuscule.
Non. C'est pour ce que j'aimerais voir. Chacun peut faire comme il le veut. So then I'll come to TD. For my TD, we're going to create some fake names. So like Adamu. Quoi ça?
Comment on met des H là?
Oui, T-Head, c'est un autre rôle. Si tu avais un peu de temps pour regarder. Ok, cool. Je pourrais expliquer plus tard. Ça t'aide à mieux organiser ton travail. Je vais vous montrer tout à l'heure. So when editing, we can make it blue. To have it blue, we just say primary. The button becomes primary. And we have it here as edit. We want to delete, we could make it red. To make it red, we simply come and change this class to danger. What else we want to do? We now need the person's name. Here was ID. So this was probably say 1. Adamu. Email, we said is going to be adar@mail.com. What else? Email number. Great, let's give you the number. Say 675731671. Great. So I'll save this and look at the information. Great. You see the information come up, right? Good. Let's put some other person's name again. But I don't like the edit and delete buttons being right in front. So I could come here and take them behind. And I come here to the table too and I take them behind. So I do this push to go that way, right? Great. So I come here and I create a second user so that we start understanding what's happening. So I simply come here and do this. The second user was called alpha, something like that. So 2, and here I call alpha here, and here we have alpha@mail.com. Great, and I save it here. Good, we see alpha, right? So here we're able to start appreciating, let's just have much data. So I'll come here and do this. Yes, it's going to be so much. Boom. But they're repeating 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? This is what we expected to have at the end, but with different users, right? Great, we've built an interface. This is all we're expected to do. So phone book, I think, is so small, should be as big as this users table. So we rapidly run up. We'll come here. This is just because we're not giving it a heading. So let's give it heading 1.text. No, users text center. So heading 1, enter. We'll give it the text and see what it looks like. Great. So we've built our interface. Now let's look at our database, right? So come here, localhost. Remember we're working on. Remember we're using one. So let's go to PHP myadmin, and we'll remember our credentials. Username, root, password, no password, and we just enter. Good, I told you we're using a SQL database, and the good meaning of the MariaDB SQL is another good one. But we'll go for the default, so we're not doing anything that serious. So, boom, we're into our database. Great. So, come and look at the different databases. Think, we have not created a database yet. So, create a database here called phone book, right? So just to make sure we can get it after, we just say tutor phone book. We can easily get it after. So we've created this tutor phone book. I will try to create a table called users. Users should have 4 fields. You say go.
So you can change the name.
You can change the number of fields. You can come here and even add an extra field. It's going to add 1. It's going to become 5. You can have as many. You can even have 2, right? It all depends on you. So here I give you an ID. But usually it's advisable to specify like this user ID. It all depends on you. If you write ID, no problem. Here will come username, user email, user number, and here's an integer. As an integer, I come here auto increment, and this becomes primary, meaning it's now a primary key. It should be unique. Name, we start to give variable character. We assume that the name is not going to go above 100 characters. Email address too, we assume that it's going to be variable characters. That wants to go above 100 characters. Our user number, we know in Cameroon, numbers are 9 in digits, so we just come here and put 9. So any number, you make a mistake and put 10 digits, it's going to trip it and give just the first 9. You see the extra field we added. If we don't fill it, no big deal. We simply come to the bottom and we say save, and it's going to create our users table. Il n'y a rien, il n'y a pas de souci. On a rempli les cartes dont on avait besoin. Le reste, c'est pas un souci. Donc là, on a notre table avec les différents champs dont on a besoin, n'est-ce pas? Cool. So now, usually advisable to try and test it ourselves. So we'll try and test it here with some data. So username here, we give Abolo Zita. Maybe, I don't know what that is. So abolo@mail.com, and then here we give it a number, say 675731677. Good. So we need just one person on database for now. Good. We've had one person. I'll need this code later, so I'll copy it now and keep it. I'll copy and keep it. I'll let you know when we need it. So I'll come back to index here and just do this and keep the code. Yeah, great. So we'll come back here and click on browse to see all the users in the database, and we see there's one user, right? Good. And we equally collect this select. We can easily write it, but let's just keep it. So we know how to get back to the issue in case we have an issue with our I forgot that. You keep coming back. Great. Now, so far so good, because remember we said to do any project, we build the HTML first, we build the interface, we build the database, making sure it corresponds, and now the next thing we should now do is we come now and use PHP to put the two together, to put this database and this HTML together, right? Great. So we'll come back to our code here. We tell our code the first thing we want to do is we don't want to be seeing all of these anymore. We want to see data from the database. Remember, we have just one data in the database, right? So how do we go about it? We'll go back to the WTB schools. Remember, we don't create anything new. We did not create PHP. We are using PHP. WTB schools tells us everything about PHP. So now we are going just for what is necessary. So we are looking at the PHP documentation on PHP. Good. Learn PHP. Let's look at the PHP documentation on WTB schools. This documentation, our focus is to see how PHP works with a database. So we'll come down until PHP MySQL, which is what we want, right? So we'll just go a little bit fast, and I'll come and click on select. I'll click on select, but I'll explain to you everything that's happening in select data. Okay, to start with, now before coming to select data, let me explain one crucial thing so that we all understand. Database. PHP is a programming language. PHP is not a database language. SQL is a database language. MySQL is a variation of SQL. Now, PHP's interaction with MySQL could be done in 3 or more other ways. W3 Schools tells us of 3 ways, wherein we have, I'll not go through all of these, just what is necessary. Connection, great. We have 3 ways of connecting with the MySQL database. 2 are shown here. Either we're connecting with MySQL I, or we're using DPO, PHP data objects, which is equally good. But we're focusing on something far easier, MySQL I, which comes in 2 variations. We have the procedural and the object-oriented. Don't bother about the word. This is MySQL I object-oriented. We are not using this one. We'll be using just MySQL I procedural, right? So no objects involved. These are just functions. It's far easier to understand. So let's start by connecting to our database. We use just this information here. So I come back here. I come right up in my controller. Okay, I did not tell you so much about controller. In programming paradigms, we mostly have a model. And let me write it to all the main comments. We have a model. We have a view, and we have a controller. The controller is what will control every information that comes into the application or leaving the application. The view is what you see. This is a view. So when we request index.php, index.php gives us home.php to see, which is a view, right? So when it does any thinking, any logic, it gives you a page to see, which is a view. The model is the database. But given that we're not building a full-fledged application here, we're building something simple to understand, we're going to take away the model and include the model into our controller, such that we're having just a VC model, right? Pour expliquer de manière assez, de manière à vraiment comprendre. Chaque application, le noyau de chaque application, la façon de concevoir les applications, la plupart des fois, il y a plusieurs modèles. Mais le modèle le plus utilisé, donc, la façon la plus utilisée, c'est MVC. Vous êtes invité à faire des recherches sur ça. Avec MVC, on a M qui est pour modèle. On a V qui est pour view. Et on a C qui est pour controller. Controller, c'est le fichier qui va contrôler tout ce qui va se passer sur l'application. Que ce soit les requêtes qui vont venir dans l'application, que ce soit les réponses qui vont sortir de ces requêtes-là. On se comprend? Par exemple, dans notre application ici tout à l'heure, on a fait une requête à index.php. Regardons, index.php. Regardons, on a ceci. Normalement, le navigateur, le serveur qui tourne au WAMP ne va pas nous montrer ce fichier-ci. Quand on tombe sur la page, tant qu'il y a un index, il va charger le index sans toutefois le montrer ici. D'accord? Et c'est ce index.php ici. Et ce qui se passe, c'est quand on appelle le index, vu qu'il a la façon dont on a le concevoir, on lui dit appelle-nous le fichier qui s'appelle home. Qui est ce fichier? Home.php. Qui est le view? View, c'est-à-dire ce que l'on voit. Quand il finit de faire sa logique, il nous ressort un fichier que l'on peut voir. D'accord? Le voici l'appelé home.php. Au fur et à mesure que notre application grandit, on aura plusieurs views. Ces views seront déterminés par les différentes requêtes qui sont faites à index.php, qui est le contrôleur. D'accord? Et modèle, c'est la base de données. Comment est-ce que la base de données est gérée? On a dit ici tantôt que vu qu'on ne crée pas quelque chose d'assez époustouflant, on est sur les B à bas, on va supprimer le modèle. Parce qu'on va intégrer notre base de données directement dans nos contrôleurs. Pour quelque chose d'assez facile, pour que les gens puissent comprendre, oui, ça passe. Mais sur une grande application, ça passe, mais tu vas te perdre à la fin parce que tu auras des choses qui ne sont pas liées ensemble, d'accord? On va faire notre chemin ici pour que tout le monde puisse comprendre, d'accord? Ok, cool. On continue.
I wish to ask some questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
This your index to PHP.
Yeah, index.php.
PHP, is it a file which you created, or is it a project which you carry those information from the library and save there, or how does it work?
Okay, our index.php is what we call our controller. What we're trying to build, we're trying to build a simple app. Everything you see on the web is an app. Even when I come here and I build a small, I just say hello world. I've started an app, I've started a project. It could grow to become anything. Every project started small. This one is starting small too. So it is a project. And every project is a way of going about it. You could use different paradigms. Here I'm using a model view controller paradigm. Way of building. The moment you understand model view controller, you go to any framework that uses model view controller, you easily find yourself because you understand the logic, the thinking, the architecture of the app, right? I'll call it app in general because this is an app we're building, right? Great. So don't get so confused. We started with an empty folder, right? And we've been progressing. So right now we're having this home, we're having index. We could even make it better. Normally, we don't leave home like this. We leave home in its own folder called, maybe I'll call it views, so that we don't get lost. So I'll call it views and I carry it and I send it into views. You ask me, do you want to move? I'll move it. And if I come here and I save and I refresh, there'll be a problem. Error because I have told index.php to get home, but there's no home here. Home is found in views. In fact, this is how you have to go about it, keeping it clean. So I have to come back here and tell you that go into views and get home.php, and it comes back, right? So at every point in time when a request comes here, we'll see many requests will become here. When the request comes here, it does its logic and pulls a view to show to the user, right? Good. Let's be going slowly. We'll get to understand one or two things, and you might have to watch this video over and over to understand certain things. I'll leave these comments there so you can see. So now here we're linking to database. We just saw databases shortly, so this should not be much of an issue to us. So here, server name, we've been writing localhost all over, right? Because that's the name of our server. Username was what? Root. Password, nothing, right? Now we'll try to connect. Here's a connection function. Now this is a variable carrying the result from this MySQL I connect function. We did not write this function, but we know how to write functions, right? When we were looking at functions yesterday, we saw that a function could have many parameters. It could be A, B, C, right? This function exists already in PHP, because if we should come here and come to localhost, just look at something, localhost. At times you might be on a version of WAMP and this is not working, very possible. But now let's see if it will work. We come here, we look at MySQL. So the MySQL extension has been installed, so we can call the different functions that have been built into this extension, right? It's not coming from anywhere. You see PDO, the other guy is not used. Here's the guy. There are so many extensions that have been built into this. Some we use passively, some we use actively. Like this one we're going to be using actively, right? So this function has been built somewhere, right? You don't need to know. You just know that it needs three things: username, server name, username, password, right? Great. Now let's try to connect. What does it say? If this connection fails, this sign will simply mean opposite. If it is false, we solve conditionals. Die means stop working, and write connection failed and tell us why you failed, right? If you pass, if you are okay, write connected successfully. So now let's go and try and connect to our database and see. Good. There's a message that came up. Connected successfully, right? Let's make a mistake here. Let's put a password. Let's say A as password. See what will come up. Error. Good. It does not recognize this with the password yes, because the password was nothing, right? This word here simply means that a password has been given, but it's not going to tell you the password for security reasons. You should not go to someone's website because it has made a mistake. It shows you the credentials to the server. No, that's not proper, right? Great. So this connection works properly. So we see this. Good. We don't want to be showing that to every user, so we comment it out. And now we see nothing, but we know our database is functioning, right? So the first thing we want to do is we want to connect to our table. No, let's connect to our database first. So we'll come here and add our database. So we'll call it DB. Our database was called phone book, right? Oops. So we come here, we simply add another parameter here, DB, and it should still work. Oh, it's showing us an error, telling us phone book. Yes, it was phone book in your machines, but on my own machine was Tito phone book. You see, Tito. Great. That tells us that we know what we're doing. Tito. Great. Let's now see if it's going to work. Wow, it's working. So we're on the right track, right? So now, the first thing we do, remember, when you get into my database, this is a function I always use, select. When you open up your phone, the first thing that does a select of every user on your phone. So that's the first thing we'll do too. We'll come here. Good, we can't just come and write select like that. It will not work. PHP needs a couple of functions to be able to execute the SQL statement, right? So many functions are written behind to execute this, and it just shows us this. So now what we'll now do is we'll come back to this our guy again. We'll come back to, remember before I went to select data. It's going to tell us the number of things it has to do to select the data. We are not looking at PDO. The first thing that will come here is MySQL object oriented. Nope, we're not looking at that. We're looking at procedural. Great, this is a guy. We have defined our database name already, so don't need to come back to that. Good. This is if it's connected and everything. You see that remove that echo success. This echo connected successfully, because you don't need it anymore. Once you've connected successfully, you move the message. Now this one we'll collect all of this. Control copy, we'll come here. Let's leave our own, just comment it out and we'll paste, and I'll explain what's happening. Control B, so I'll hide all of that. We come here and say if, remember MySQL again, right? This is another function. I don't know who wrote the function even. Some people wrote it and it works, so I use it. It comes here, we first do our SQL statement. We have our own, so we'll come and remove W3 schools own, right? We'll come here, we replace it with our own statement. We have our own statement, right? Which is that. Copy it, select. So our SQL statement goes into this variable. We saw variables, that's how they $sign. And then we do a result variable. Result variable should be equal to MySQL query. Run these two, the connection and the SQL query. Run the two and give us a result. We're keeping it in this result here. If the MySQL number of rows is greater than 0, if there is data, even if there is no data, it will still be positive. If there is some data, means there is data, and it's going to permit us to have an array. So let's forget about this. If there is data, we are going to output data for each row. If there is no data, it will tell us that echo result 0. So let's save and see what it will first tell us, so that we go stepwise. Let's come here and say echo some data. So if there is some data, it should tell us that there is some data, right? So we'll come here and refresh. Good, it's telling us there is some data. It means there is data in our database, right? Right? Okay, let's continue. We are told to rest enough before this class. Great. So now if there is some data, I would like to see that data. Remember variable dump, right? I told you for variable dump we need it so much. So we'll come here, we'll declare our own variable called all data. I will give it here, but we'll not look for association, but we'll look for all. We want to get all the data in the database, and then we variable dump it to see how the data is structured. So we'll do this. Oops. Variable dump. because we just want to see the data. So when we refresh this, good, we see we have one data. You see it's an array. That array has another array again of the user starting with 0, and here is abolo zeta blah 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 blah, the exact data here. So let's just create another data here and see again if we will see there. So we come here, we create zeta abolo, the opposite of abolo, zeta, and we come here for email, we call it zeta mail.com, and the number 675731677. Great. Now the number starts with 6. I mean, in Cameroon number starts with 6. So I save it again. Great. And I come here, I refresh, so I should see 2, 0, showing that all the data are in this first array variable, and then we have, we should have 0 here and have 1 here, that gives us zeta abolo. So when we refresh, great, 0 gives us this, 1 gives us this, right? Great. So we have saved it in a variable called all data. So no, I like the name all users. It makes more sense. No, they just call it users in general, right? So we call it users. Great. So we don't need to, anyhow, we might leave that variable down so that we know how to organize our data. So we come here, we don't need echo no data anymore. Great. We just come and pass down. Oh, great. Remember, it's like our battery wants to go down, so we have to put it on charge. Let's connect this there. Okay. Let's continue. Okay. So now, remember, whenever you load an app, the first thing the app should do is load all users, right? You should load all users. So how do we achieve this? There is a variable here called users. So let's try to see if this variable is a variable out of scope. Let's just put in and see. Good, it's still there. So let's come again, copy it, and come into home. So the moment we refresh here, we don't see anything there. But we need that. We need to put up all that data. We need to display it here, right? So I come down here to table. Where is table? To table, at the head of table here, and I simply come in and I get back into PHP, and I do that and I refresh again. Great. So I'm seeing the data. So this will help me to better do it here. But this is not even an ideal place. And to do this, no, let's leave it there. So I come down. So here, all I remember with PHP, I don't need to create this over and over anymore. I simply, there are so many. I simply come and take all of them out and leave just one. So with this one, what do? I want to look over all the data. Great, paradigm users. So I simply come here and I get back into PHP. And here I say for each users as user, I create anything I want, right? I do this, I come back and finish it here. I simply come and say end for each. Great. So for each users as user, look over and give me their values, right? We see the ID is on index 0. So if I come here and get back into PHP again, oh my god. Oh, even forget back to PHP. Now let me finish before I do what I want to do. If I should come here and refresh, you see just 2. 2 because of 2 data here, so it looks just 2 times, right? So I come here, I give it the ID, I come and say, oh, echo user ID, right? Then I close the statement. So if I go and refresh now, I'll see here will be 1 and 2. 1 for Abolo Zeta, 2 for Zeta Abolo. So as I see, if you wanna come and refresh, oops, I'm getting an error. Why am I getting an error? Oh, because I'm calling the indices by their value names, whereas that's not what's in the array. Here, 0, right? So I come here and I make it 0. Normally it should even be an integer, not a string. Great, I see 1, 2. Now let me rapidly do the same for name and everything. So I come here, name is index 1. Name is indexed 1. Okay, let me just come and copy this. Email is index 2. It's index 2. I'll get it from here. And number is index 3. Number is index 3. So good. Now I have them here, right? Coming from the database. Now let's go and add one more person in the database and see. We're going to add who? Insert. We add her Mike Terry. No, I like local names. Achu Samson. And his email address is achu@mail.com. And here his number is 675-731677. Great. So when I refresh here, I get 3. Good, so it's working. It's picking it from the database, right? Great. So I don't need to show this user setting more up here, but I'll just keep it. It helps in debugging, so I keep it. So good, we have one part working. Our table is working. So when I go into our app, so when we go into our app by reaching out on index.c, so this is our app, phone book, right? So when we go into phone book, it loads something by default. It loads all the users. So it does that general select. So we don't need you anymore here. So we come to it does a general select, and we can see it from good. We've connected to our database up here, and then it does the select. It does the select. Where does it does the select here, right? Let's give it some more space up there. So this is where the select is being done, and then it keeps the results here. We check to see if there was data or not, so we don't need this tool. So after this, usually clean up the comments and make your code look tidy. No, leave just relevant comments. That will help you. So here we say collect all data. Collect all data. Great. Oh, collect. That's not where it's from. Great. So the next thing we want to do is to insert. I want to insert this data. So when we finish, we click, it comes in here directly, right? Great. So let's embark on that. Oh, our insert statement was already there. Nice. So let's go and look at our form again. Our form was on home. So when looking at our form, what can we realize? Realize that our form has as action. We just give it dot. Well, give it dot. It means the person who called me sent the form back to that person, and who called it index, right? So send it back to index. Good. And then our method is post. There's a difference between post and get. We'll see the difference shortly. Good. So I just see here post. Okay. So now let's fill some data and see. But now we have a problem. See, when I click, the form goes. The form is actually going. We can see when I click, it goes. It actually refreshes because see. Let's stay here and click. The page is refreshing, right? So, but we don't want our form to refresh like that. So we'll come here and say the value is required. So if you don't put a value, that form should not go. if you don't put a value, the form should not be submitted, right? So let's see if it works. So anyway, so if we send, we try, good, it's telling us please fill this data. We fill, we send again, we say fill this other one again. See something, if I put E is, I mean, goes along with numbers and everything, but it wipes it telling us that, I mean, you have to put something there. We put numbers, we click, it tells us we have to complete the last one, right? So on and so forth before it can send. But it's telling us that no, it's not an email. How do you call this sign again? That sign is not there. You have to complete it as an email before it can go again now and refresh, right? So it's required to permit the form not to send data until the data is well formatted, because we've given it types. Data type, remember data type again, right? It's all over from HTML to everything. Great. So now we come now, and what do? We wonder when we send a form, we should handle it here. So what should we do here? I'll write some code. So this is our controller. This is home page. Now I want to write for insert page. For the insert, what do I want to do? I wonder if, remember our if again, or go stepwise. If they click on something, for this form to go, we must click on this, right? And what's the value of this? What's the name? The name is save user. So if it sets, but remember this form, the moment we've given it a method here, the moment anything is found in this form with a name, it becomes part of this array. This becomes a big array carrying all of them, right? Let's see what that means. So I'll now say if post, we use post, right? If post user save user is set, if it is clicked, do something. Let's see, we just say echo clicked, and then if we say clicked, we want to return, means we want to block it, we don't want it to continue. Return means stop. So we'll come here and fill in someone. This guy will keep coming. Anyway, it's saying click because I've clicked on it, but this is not what I wanted. So to stop it from coming back, so if I refresh, it will keep coming. To stop it from coming, I have to come up here and say enter. It will no more come. Because when you send the form, it's saved in memory. It's difficult to understand, but we'll see how to prevent it shortly. So we'll give a name, okay, what should I give a name for people around here? Quinte, book up, right? A number 675731677. Great. We give an address, so we say quinte@mail.com. We send. Good. It shows that we have filled all the fields and we're in here, right? Good. But I want to see all that is coming from the form. So I'll do a variable here. No need even creating a variable. I'll just say variable DOM post. So post now is an array. Remember, you see it's an array. That's why it's getting this index called save user. So now we're asking it, tell us everyone you're keeping. Good. It tells us that post is an array. It has name, number, email, save user. Wow. But what do we need? We need just this three, right? So go ahead, just as we did with our calculator. Say name here should be equal to, name is equal to post name. It's name, right? Yeah, name. That's okay. Name, number, and then email. Good. Let's just see if variable DOM. I just want to make sure our name, number, and email have been saved too. So I will do this. Good. I can see them individually here. Means I've saved them. First person here is name. Next person here is number. Next person here is email, right? Great, on the right track. So now let's do things correct. We have captured the data from the form. We now have to put it into a database. Remember this guy, insert, right? We now have to use insert. So, but don't just use insert like that. So we'll come back into W3 schools and we ask them, how do we insert data? We just want the functions. You can't keep all those functions in your head, but you should know where to get them. Say insert, not insert just one data, please, not multiple. Good, we go to MySQL procedural. Great. It's not even complicated. This is just all we need. We copy just this. Yeah, we copy. Control copy. Now let's see what to do. If it said user, we have to put this information here. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. We have our own here, so come on, get our own instead. Control X. I'll come here, tell it sorry, we have our own, I'll put our own there. So insert into users, we don't need ID because ID is going to auto increment. We don't want to write null all the time. Values is good to put on separate lines so easily know what's happening. We do this. Now, good. We've done this, but this is what we'll do. We'll come here and replicate it. And keep this one in comments. You understand why. If you realize we have anyhow, we're coming. You see double quotes, it starts with double quote, ends with double quote. Each value single quote, single quote. Or you could start with single quote, end with single quote, and each value has double quote, right? Great. So we come here, we want to put username. Remember, we had username up there. Username is, we've kept it under name, right? Oh, let's switch to French again. Username is name. I'll continue. This is email. Email, right? And then this is number. Number, great. We want to see, so we'll return it here, return, because we want to make sure that we're formatting it exactly like this. Start with double quote, end with double quote, the values have single quotes. Or start with single quote, end with single quote, and the values have double quotes. So we'll return here, before returning, we want to variable DOM. No, why variable DOM? We can echo it, we can echo SQL. Great. There are many issues. And I want us to go, remember, do your errors so that you understand what's happening. So we'll refresh again. Good. It tells us, insert into users. It doesn't even put the quotes. You see, there's already a problem. The moment we do this, we leave it to pass. We're leaving it to pass into the function that's supposed to execute the SQL statement. We'll see an error. We'll see an error happening here. Good. Error because so many things are going on wrong. We must format it this way for it to work. Double quote starting and finishing, single quotes in the middle, or single quote starting and finishing, double quotes in the middle. Now let's go. Let's try to do it. So here, great. Now let's save and see. Good. Double quotes inside, single quotes outside, or double quotes outside, single quotes inside. So I remove you. I hide you too for now. And I send to the database to see if it goes. This is good. If it goes into the database, it will tell us that new record was successfully added. If it does not go, it's going to tell us that there's an error, and it's going to tell us the error. But now see, there's a problem. Once it goes into the database, it will not show us this value because the select was done up, right? So if I want to see this value, I make sure I carry this and put before the select. I carry you and put before the select, right? So that when it takes the value inside the form, it goes now and does the select before showing on the table. So I save this and I come back here and I refresh, and hopefully everything should work. New record created successfully. I actually forgot this one. When you are created successfully, what should you do? You should come down and wait, please. I wonder when you are created successfully, you should refresh the page. So to refresh the page, remember, if we click again, it's going to come up again and ask us, do you want to confirm the, let's do it and you see. Because I don't want to send the data. In fact, no, let me send the data many times in the database. Remove the header. If I refresh again, see, this will come up again. That's added it a second time. So quit is now in the database 2 times. I refresh again. It's there 3 times now. We come here to stop that from coming again. We create a header. Remember, if I click enter here, it won't come again because it has refreshed the page, and we can see quitting here 3 times, right? So to stop that from happening next time, I'll simply create this location. Header means it's going to act up here, and I'm asking it location dot, meaning refresh, right? Great. So I come here. When next it comes, I want it to just refresh the page. There are other ways we could go about it, but if there's an error, show us the error. We could simply ask it to that whenever it comes, just load our home and we see our home without refreshing. But I would prefer that when it inserts into the database, refresh the whole page so that we see fresh content. So we'll come here and add a new user. Let's say Banga Ebomo, even number 675731677, and the address is banga@mail.com, and we save. Good, we have saved Banga, and we should see Banga. Here's Banga number 7 down, right? But now this is not like our phone book. It's not coming, but we cannot click up here and expect it to work. No, we have not built that functionality. We come to our database and click on browse, and given that we want everyone to be in alphabetical order, we come here and click, and we'll copy the SQL statement here and add it to our own. On our select, this is our select, we come here and add it, and we'll make sure that it will order everybody, order by users, which is the table username. We could remove users here and it will still work, but it's advisable to leave it in case you have many tables, and in another table you could still have username, and it will now be confused on which table to get the data from. So if I come here and I refresh, we'll have an alphabetical order now. Banga was just added. Number 7 is right up here, but number 4, 5, Zeta is right down, right? Great. So for our CRUD processes, we've done insert, we've done select. So now we're left to do update and delete. Should we take a break? Let's take a break and ask the questions and we come back. Thank you. Okay, so now we'll be trying to build the edit and delete functionalities. We've already done the insert and select. Great. So let's get on. We'll start with delete before we do update. Update or edit is far a little more complicated. So we'll start with delete. So if we come here to our database and we see the data that's there, good, we have created book up so many times, so we can easily start by seeing how it works on them. if you want to delete something, you must know what you're deleting. So everything you want to delete must be referenced either by an ID or by something. So even these guys, when I come here to delete, it's a link. When I come to it, it will tell me what to delete below. Something will come up, maybe because our screen is short, it's not going to write much because it's going to be very long. So we'll try to delete ID number 5, right? We'll click on delete here. Boom. When we delete, look at the statement. It says, because it's looking for something unique. Do you want to delete from users where the user ID equals to 5? It does not know the names, does not know whatever. I could equally change and say delete where username equals to Kwete Bokop. We want to delete that many of them. We'll delete all of them because all of them bear that information. But here we want to delete one person, so he's trying to make us understand. Are we sure we want to delete it, right? Good. If I click, oh, it has deleted it already. Oh, sorry, it has deleted already. On your own machines, it wants you first, right? Here, it does not want. So I'll copy this statement and good. See what happens. So when I come back to browse, ID 5 is no more there. Nobody takes its place. It remains empty, right? Good. I want to come here. This number 5, no more. That's gone. It's no more there, right? Great. But our table is looking good. So most of the times you don't see ID at the end. We'll remove the IDs. We're just leaving it there so that people can see. We can see while working. So to do the delete, we need a link to permit us click and it deletes too. We could decide that when we click on delete, it should show us, are you sure you want to delete before it deletes? Or we can make it when you click on delete, it deletes it straight away. So given that we'll try to go straight to the point, we'll make it such that when you click it deletes, right? Then after, as your own personal homework, you can now see to build another script such that when I click on delete, it should ask me first, are you sure you want to delete? If I click yes, it should go and delete, right? For now, we're taking things very simple. So let's build it. So to do the delete, I'll first come here and actually do my own statement. Or this was the statement for, cool. When you finish, if it's not a comment, you take it off and really make your code look beautiful. Beautiful and straight to the point. But if you have comments, leave the comments there because the comments will help you tomorrow. When you come and you're lost, you don't know what you did there or why you did it, you'll be in trouble. So, yeah, great. This is okay. This is okay. I come here now. There are many things to do. So I'll first come here and make sure. Oh no, I don't even need that. I'll just come here and say if is set. I'll go and create a button for delete. If get, I'll call it delete user. If delete user has been clicked, echo delete user, right? Then I return. Great. So now let's go and make sure we declare this delete user. And when we're deleting, I forgot to show you. Usually, most of the time, delete is going to be a get request. The difference between post and get is when we use post, see something. When we're adding a user, you will see nothing up here. Nothing will come up here. Nothing will come on the URL. So we'll come here and we'll add Babina Elundu 675731677. Babina.mail.com. If I add it, you'll see nothing here because we're using post, right? Good. But the moment we use get, you must see the URL parameters up here. So we'll start by doing that here. So we'll come to our delete button. Remember, the moment we want to delete a particular person, so we need the ID of the person. Remember, all our IDs were kept. This first guy with index 0. So I'll go and copy it and come back down here and look who is doing delete you. Good. So instead of writing delete here, I could still leave delete, but now the link, remember, the only way you can talk to this URL is using header. We used header somewhere here. We use header, or we could use a link. In HTML, you talk to the URL by using a link, right? So in this link, I'll simply call it index.php first. So when you click on this link should always take you to index.php. So see, when I click on it for now, it should take me back on the same page. Right? Its index.php is now coming up here. You look, right? So now it's reading the same page, which is good, which is what we want. So after reading the page, we want it to read something else. So we'll put a question mark, like read the following parameter. We called it what again? Delete user, right? Equals to this ID. We want to delete the user that has that ID. That's what we're telling it. So we'll come here again, we refresh. User ID 1, no, let's not delete user ID 1. The mini creative, okay, great. User ID 4, we want to delete you. So when we come here, look here, it says index.php delete user equals ID 4. When we click on it, it tells us delete user. Good, meaning what? It has passed this condition. It has passed, so this is true. All of this is true. So someone has clicked delete user, so get delete user is set, making all of this true. So when it's true, it goes down. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get the ID of the person I'm deleting. So I simply say this, and then I echo that ID just to make sure we're deleting the right person. So when I save and I refresh, good, that's ID number 4, right? We're about to delete. So I could even remove this return and make it such that we can be seen from below. You see, we see it and then we see what it is. So we click on 1, about delete 1. You see the 1, right? And I click on you 2, it's 3. Good. I could even come up here and change it. 5. There is no 5. It's just saying 5 there, but it's not going to delete it because I deleted 5. So right now I want to delete whole 6 or 4. Let's go for 6. Let's delete 6. So you are able to see 6. Here's 6 up here, right? Good. As we see 6, we go back again to W3 school. So ask you, when you want to delete somebody, what do you do? Which statement do you write? At the end of the day, you see that all these statements boil down to this. You write your SQL statement and you launch this function. This is what will execute it. But I keep coming back here so that you should know where to go to for reference. I'm not making it up. So delete data, I'm not interested in everything. I go to procedural, no procedural, I'm interested just in this two. I copy it and I come and replace. Where was my delete? Good. I come here and I put it here.
So you're copying this, you don't copy even the...
I don't copy database connection again because we already have it. We wait for database connection. Shouldn't be connecting over and over. I know it's free, but
How do you know that at this time I need to copy it?
Because
that
good. You know that you have to copy it and put it there because you have understood the project. You have understood CRUD. You have understood that right now I want to delete. So I make sure I write my delete statement somewhere in my controller. Yes, I've written my delete somewhere in my controller. So I go and copy the code, the functions, necessary functions. In the long run, you shouldn't be copying this anymore. You should have known this. This is when you're building from scratch. I build from scratch now, but I use frameworks, which makes it easier. But it makes it easier because I've understood this. If I show you a framework here, you cram and you don't understand anything. Understand the language from the basics, right? Great. Oh no, this is not where I was. I was on delete. And all of this, if delete, I could write this delete anywhere. But the only thing I make sure I do is I leave my select at the last before closing my PHP. I've never closed PHP here. On a controller, you might not close PHP because you're not writing any HTML in controller. Yes, even these errors, we are just trying to catch errors here. But ideally, I could still catch these errors directly on a view. But let's keep things simple, please. Okay, good. So I come here, you see, I've said here that there's a SQL statement delete from our table is called users, where user ID is equal to 3, but our user ID is equal to ID. We're making it dynamic. or making it dynamic. So this is who we want to delete. And we say if you are able to delete the person successfully, simply tell us record deleted successfully. If not, tell us record was not deleted successfully, right? So instead, I've seen this is interesting, but I don't want to use this. Anyhow, let's use it first and see. So I save, and we'll come here and refresh. ID number 6 should go away. Number 6, right? When we refresh, let's make sure it's on the table first. Number 6, great. And up here we're having number 6, right? So the moment we click on enter, boom, let's see the message first. Error. Oh, it's telling us that error. Cool, you see, I did not spell user ID properly. I forgot an E. The one thing you forget, poof, nothing works. Now let's see again. Good, record deleted successfully. Let's come down and see if we see number 6. Number 6 is no more, it's gone. I will come here again. This is the last time we can see number 6. The moment we refresh, number 6, bye bye, it's gone. Number 6 will no longer be there. Good, you see? Great. So now one way I like doing it is whenever I delete this, I'll keep this message and keep it in a variable called probably deleted user, right? Then I come here, deleted user. I keep it in this variable. Then as I've kept it in this variable, the next thing I'll do is I go to my home. Given that when it finishes this, there is no return, so it continues right down and loads home. So I come to home. If you have used other software before, you get some beautiful messages coming like this has been done successfully. Even these guys write it, when you do it, a message comes like this has been done successfully and all not. So I'll come here and equally do the same thing. I'll come right up here. I could even come and leave the message. No, I'll leave the message right up here. I'll just make sure I keep the variable. Good. I'm keeping a variable here, but I want it to be a beautiful message. So I come to, I want to go to Bootstrap. So now I can see open home here, and when it's loading, I ask for Bootstrap. The guys have everything, so Bootstrap. Tutorials, programming, data analytics. I'm looking for Bootstrap. Where is Bootstrap? Bootstrap, CSS. Come on, the CSS library. Okay, learn Bootstrap. Great. We'll show you 3 versions: Bootstrap 3, Bootstrap 4, Bootstrap 5. Let's go for 3. Make things simple for everyone. So I want to use what Bootstrap calls alert. I click on alert. Okay, there are different types of alerts. I'll just go for, I like this one. This sign at the side. I hope this is here. Danger. I copy the code. And I come here and I paste the code. Because HTML code. I'll put the code here, but then I think I'll put this code in the container, so I'll put it just somewhere up here. I'll put it up here. So I'll come here. I want to put the message here. I could even put the message with the ID of the user that's been deleted and everything. But I'll just say transaction successful. Transaction successful. I don't like to have a success. I don't like to have danger. Successful. Then I say user has been deleted. I put that statement. This is a statement that leave a full stop. Remember, deleted user is what we see here. Oh, machine. Deleted user, I will say record deleted successfully. So let's go and delete someone else again. Let's delete somebody. We'll come here again. Who is like, let's put a new guy and go and delete the guy. I'll say delete me. I'll come here 675731677. I'll give you the message. We'll call it delete mail.com. I will say save. So delete will come here. Oh, we're having cool. We're having this error because we did not, you see, it says undefined deleted user. Deleted user has not been set. So what I forgot to do was I was supposed to come and do this and keep this message away from everyone else. I would simply come and say if it's set, means if it has been set, I'll leave it like this. If it has been set, do it. And then here simply and if. Yeah, so we'll not have such errors again. They're gone because delete user has not been set, right? Where's that delete guy? Let's take him out. So now you see, we want to delete him. So we delete him. We should now see that message because when we click on delete, it's going to come through. Delete is going to come through, and where is delete? Delete is going to come through and create that variable if at all it was deleted successfully. So delete me. We've clicked on you. Good. You see the message has come. Means delete has been deleted. Delete no more. Cool. That's one way of notifying the user, because the person using this has no idea about what's happening behind on the back end, right? So try to notify him. He should be aware of what's happening. Good. So we've done delete successfully. So one person left. Update, right? I said it was the most complicated. Now let's see how we can go about it. So I'll simply come here. To do update, we'll have to do two things. Update, we'll have to go and pick it up first. Go and pick up whosoever we're updating and bring. And when we bring it now, we create the form again and put back the value so that it can update. And then we submit again, and it goes back into the database, right? So the first time is we'll say yeah, it's almost finished. I'll just call it chosen user. No, I'll say edit user. No, it's better. I'll call it edit user. And here should be select. Oh no, I was not to do this with this code. Sorry. I'm about to select a user, so the best way is to come and use the select user code. So if I come here, edit user, I come and say select everyone from users where ID, only particular is user ID. Where user ID, remember, you could decide and do the backticks. Yeah. Where user ID equals to ID. Right? Good. So when you select that user now, it will come and tell us that query gets the user, then comes here, gives us the user here. But then we'll create a variable here called edit user equals to true. So we want the form to act differently when there is a user to be edited, right? And then we'll call users, but then this fetch all is for one person. No, we don't need you anymore. We need fetch all for user. We'll not call it users, we'll call it user. We're calling it user because there is another select down here. There is another select down here calling all users. This calls all users and it's going to be called too. We're interested just in calling the one user we want to edit. Where is it? Where is edit user? Good. We're interested just in one user to edit. This is it. Good. So we come now to our form. on home, we come to the edit user. I'll give you the link. So take it to index.php. We'll do the same thing here, but we'll call it edit user. Edit user. So when we click on the user, it should send us that particular user to be edited here, and then we should be able to see. Let's just do a variable dump here. Variable dump of the user we want to edit. So we'll come here and refresh. Let's say we want to edit create a bookup. We'll click on edit. You see, it tells us edit user where ID equals to 4. Good, you see, it has taken just create a bookup. Now we have to fill create a bookup in a certain form and permit the user to edit create a bookup to a new name, right? A new number, a new anything. But now we have a form here. This form is used to send things to the database. It's not used to edit, right? So we come back here, we tell this form that, okay, form. Right now we need another form. What should we do? We'll create another form. So here I've created another form. This new form has a post, but its submit name is no longer save user but update user. So now we have two forms. Okay, now let's actually give the forms a name. So when you enter the form, this should be this form should be h2 dot add user, and the other one should be update user. So now refresh. Now I see this update users form and this add user, but we should not see two forms, right? We should see just one form depending on what we want to do, right? Now, but we realize there was something. See. We've been given these values here, but see something on index. There is another value here called edit user that we created. Let's see, it's edit user created. Control copy. We come here, we give it, we add it to here, and we refresh. Good, you see edit user has been created and it's true. But when we come here and we'll remove edit, we don't want to edit anything. We want to see these values are still there. Cool, they are not there. So, but update form is still there because update form has been created in HTML. So there's no logic to it. So now what do? We will write some code and say, if edit user is created, show edit form. If edit user is not created, show add user form. So I come here and I do this. PHP, and I say if edit user is created,
is it okay user?
Edit user. We just declared a variable, made it true, so that whenever it is true, show us this form, update form. I'll come down here and we simply do else. So at every point in time, you cannot show the two forms, you must show the one. And if so, okay, this is undefined variable edit user. Good. It's saying undefined variable because we too have made a mistake. You don't just come and call a variable like that. So we have to see if the variable is set. So we'll just come here and say if is set. So if it's set, show us it is not set, right? But the moment I come and click on someone to edit, it will be set. And now we see update user. That's how we do to change states, right? Great. So as we've changed it, let's put this value inside here so that the user can edit. So we rapidly come here and say this value is in which form? It's in form of an array. So I'll come here and say user should be equal to user, because it's an array. Who was doing that variable dump again? It was you. I don't want it anymore. Anyhow, we want it but not here. Good. So we now have user. This is a user. So the index 0 value 3. So let's just fit it in here very fast. So I come here ID. So how do I put value inside here? To put value inside here is as simple as what I said. So I simply have to come here and call it value. I could come here and call it value and simply right here value, and you see that in there, right? Value, right? But that's not what I want to put. I'll simply come here and say PHP, and I say echo user 1. No, echo, we have to close the semicolon. So now the name comes in, right? Good. We now do the same thing for name, which is 2. No, is it number that is 2? Number is 3. Number is 3. Number is 3, whereas email is 2. So when I do this, boom, everything comes back, right? Are we together? Good. So I don't need a variable dump anymore. Great. We're having everything come back for actual Samsung. So it's actual Samsung, the great. But now there's a problem. Let's see something. If I come to edit actual, let's edit actual Samsung. See edit. When I click on edit, when it comes, I come and say actual Samsung, actual Samsungs. Let's put it that way. And I say go. It's going to edit it, but to edit it, it needs to get its ID. So you see, it's editing at a particular ID called 3 with value 3. So I copy that update statement. I come here, I've copied the update statement, and I come this form. Remember what this form does? This form takes update user, right? So I rush back to my controller and I look for insert, because it's very similar to insert. This was the insert statement. So I come here and I do this. Good. And I come here, it was update user. So I say update. So it's update user. It's going, the same values are going to be the name and everything. But there's something lacking. Let me come and put let me just call it SQL equal to, I have to write it back in the same way to avoid the double quote, single quote thing. Remember, right? Good. So it's saying update blah 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 set u equal to, this is now name. I have to format it the way I formatted this one here, else I'll have that same trouble again. So I'll do like this. It was double quote, single quote, dot, where name equals to that, set blah 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 equals to, good. You see, we need an ID, but there's no way, we did not tell the form to give us an ID, right? So I'll simply come here, there will be a mistake here, fine and good. But I want to come here, I need an ID for that user. I need to hide an ID. To update, you need the ID, please. I don't know if you're looking, so I'll come up here and just do input. Remember our input, right? So So I'll come here and doing a funny input. No, I just want you to understand something. So the name here is going to be ID, and the value is going to be the ID was index 0. So when we come on our form, we should see we're trying to edit. This will be Samsung with S. Remember, we just updated from database. Okay, yeah, it's normal. I didn't want it to be seeing anything that was done here, so I'll comment out everything. It's seeing errors from here. The errors are still working here. Yeah. So you see Samsung. You see there's ID. ID is 3, right? You will come to click someone else, Babina. ID will come here 8. But whenever you're editing something, even on Facebook, you're editing a comment, you don't see the ID, right? People should not be seeing the ID because people don't care about what's happening down there, right? So I just come here and put hidden. Hidden will hide it, but it's still there. Let's see why. We'll come look at the source code. We come hidden. You see, it's still there, right? Great. We close this. So back here, this means that what? When we send this value, if we look at our post, we should see the ID. What are we editing this time? Babina Elundo photo. We'll just give you the name of the Elundo photo. And we save. Good. You see, it comes with the ID. Great. That's what we're looking for here. So the moment we catch that ID, the moment we get the ID, we can come and say update where user is equal to this. There was a trap here. It will not work here because it cannot be double quotes. So we have to do the same thing we've done with the others, which is double quotes, single quotes. Yeah, this is what will work. So simply keep this one in. Comment first until it works properly, because this one had worked, so make sure always keep it as a test. So we needed name, username, user number, control copy v, username, user number, which here is number, and username, user number, user email. Hey, I hope you know I'm getting some information from. Remove this last comma, else will be a problem. Great. As we get this SQL, we come now and execute. If it's proper, we refresh everything and that should be okay. So now, let's see what's happening now. We have edited Babina Elundu. So Babina Elundu photo, right? Good. And now we refresh and save because it's still in memory. Asking us to say yes. Good. Let's see if it was changed. Babina Elundu photo. Great. So we're able to achieve all 4. Let's see. We can add someone. We can add someone like John Abena, right? We can come up with number 675-731-671. We can give it an address johnr@mail.com, and when we save John, we have done an insert, a create. So we see John here. We can edit John. John told us he had a third name, which was Asana. We came here, we added Asana. Here we're doing an update, right? We save. Good. We have Asana, John Abena Asana. We can delete this select. We're seeing everybody. Delete. Which should we delete? Banga Ebomo. We delete Banga Ebomo. Click just here. I'll get a message like transaction successful. We've deleted that guy. So we've been able to achieve everything that the basic functionalities we get here. The insert, the delete, the read, the select, and the update. We've built our own, which is beautiful for our client, and our client can now buy So you just go to the school. So this is how you do. You now go to the school. You simply go there and tell them where is the computer people will be registering from. They show you the computer. You install one, you install the database, and you leave it for them. Whenever someone comes, they'll type it and do everything. You ask them to pay you, I don't know what, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, 1 million, and they have a working system that puts numbers and everything, right? As easy as that. That's how simple it is. Now, let me just show you one thing. Everything comes small and you can make it grow bigger. For instance, the owner said he does not want to come. He wants to see how many people are there directly. So he wants you to count the number of people and put here, for instance, before you start working. So when it comes to the table, he sees everyone, right? So what do? You simply come back here to select. So I'll remove this variable dump. I don't need it anymore. Cool. You can start cleaning up your code. Anything you don't need, put the necessary comments because you are finished. You are finished and it's working. So I come back to home. On the table, before it gives you everyone, you make sure you just come here and do, on this table here, I could just come here and do users. Given that I'm looping over users, right? There's a function in PHP called count. So I'll simply come here and say echo count users, and it's going to count and tell me how many. There are 6. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 users. So you could make it look more beautiful. Where is it again? I can make it look more beautiful by coming here and saying, see, just go back to Bootstrap. Bootstrap has so many beautiful things to make your work look so nice. I think they have something called is it, well, I'll see the name, I'll remember. List panels. Good, panels. They have something called panels that makes things look good. No, it's not panels. Typography, alerts, words, pagination, pager, tabs, collapse, tooltip, no popover or fix. No. Is it label? Label. Has someone seen label somewhere? Label. I'm not seeing label. Oh. Label. It should be label. Color drop down. Yeah. It's unfortunate. I'm not seeing what I wanted, but anyhow, you've done some CSS, so you can build something interesting or actually build something like this. I'll give you the class called interesting, and you see what I'll do. I'll just come in here and I put the number at h3 and I come and put the count. So I'll say these users. So it's going to come here and tell me the number of users, the better way. 6 users, but let's see what I'll do. I'll rush. I could actually do the styling in here, but should I do the styling in here? I'll do the styling in here. So I'll call here style, and I'll come here and say background color. Probably I make it black. Pardon?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I make the color white. So it stands out, you see, something like that. Then maybe I do some padding, or from 10 pixels, or 10 pixels, and create some space between. So I do something like that, or anything. It all depends on you. Yes, good. Then now he might tell me that, oh, I like what you've done, but I want a possibility of searching the users that are inside. And you're like, wow, that will cost you probably 100,000 francs more, 200,000 francs. It all depends on you. And then you tell yourself, I don't even know how to do it. I've even asked this guy for money, but I don't know how to do it. Cool, we have to hide the ID first. They have to be seeing the ID. It does not help them. So actually comment it out. So I do this, and I come here and I comment it out, and I simply come here and I break up the PHP, so that does that. Then I come here too and I make sure ID, I comment it out. Good. ID goes away and I have something clean like this. So I think wait, there was something to make those buttons. I think those buttons are too big.
Reduce.
Yeah, there was something to change them. Let me see. By removing your no, but it's not beautiful. I think there's something like BTN SM for small. Good, makes it look small. Makes it small. BTN SM. I think it's better. I think there's equal to BTN XS. Maybe does it work? Good, that's better. Oops, why not? It's still refreshing. You can see from here. Great. So now let's go and do that. He says once I can click organize, just as we saw with this guy shortly. Just saw PHP admin. He wants to come and clicking and let it be changing here, right? So now we say, oh, how do we do that? Oh, I've never done that before, but there's a beginning to everything. So there's a library. Good. I've not done much of JavaScripting, but there is a library. So first and foremost, we have to include jQuery, which is a library, and then there's another library that will help us do it. So we'll come here and look for data tables. Data tables should help us do it and do it nice. So this is just an aside, so you might never. It's a good library, wonderful library, and you see how to implement it. Very simple. So you see, here's the library. Help me search. Let me search for software. I just do soft. You see, it's searching. It shows me all everyone who has software. Let me look for New York. I just come here and write New York. Main for New York. Let me look for this particular name. You see, it will give me just that guy with that name. You see, as you are searching, see, it's bringing many more people. As you keep searching, it's searching. You could decide and say you have many people. It's showing me in tens. I could come here and increase to 25. You see, you have to order. You click, it's ordering, just like PHP admin, right? Good. I think it's something we will like. So go down and look for how do we use this library. Wow, I've written so much. I'm not interested in all of that. We come to code. No, after the table they usually give code. Good. We come to examples or manual. Let's open manual. Open examples. We're interested in just one thing, to get the code, to see how we do it, and then we do it. Basic initialization. Great. That's something we need. We just want to see how they do it there. Zero configuration. Yeah. Okay, while it's opening, let's open this other guy to see if that's nothing interesting for us. This guy is zero configuration. We need two things. It's loaded. It takes time. Great. Good. It tells us this is the JavaScript we need. Now HTML, we need the library. I hope they have given us a library. This data. I'm not interested in data. Oops, not giving us the data. Oh, sorry. I just can't change the screen. I can't make it bigger, else we'll not understand something. Good. These are the two libraries he's using. He's using jQuery 3, and he's using a certain. He's using his own library 2 down here. So I'll copy the 2. Oh, we can't copy it. I blocked it. We can't copy. No, I'll do this. Great. So I copy and I come here to our own code. At the bottom of our own code, this is where you add script. Add script. No, script. Enter. I come down here, I put this. I add jQuery first, and I come here and put source equals to. I've added jQuery. You must add, see, in this order: jQuery first, this second. Please go and read on jQuery, and then you come and ask me questions. jQuery is a wonderful library. It does almost everything you can think of. Once I've done this, I now open my script and add this code. So I now come here and I say script, and I add this code. This code simply tells us that word. It tells us that document. Remember document? This is document up here. Doc type means this whole document. Once you are ready, run this code. So once everything has been loaded, before you run this code. Once JavaScript before your data comes, there will be no work done. So it's like someone who goes and plants before cutting the grass. So make sure everybody is set before you run this code. Then go and get the table. So I'll simply call it here, get it as in CSS, or simply say get table. So wherever it says dot table, wherever it says a table class, like here we're having a table. Where's our table? Table class is table. It will reorganize it to make it look good. So let's see if we're correct. Good. It has made it too, but if we enlarge it, we'll have issues on our recording. So here, let's see if it's working. So here it's ordering from intent. We have just we have just 6 data, right? You see? Let's look for Abena. You see, it's searching for Abena. It has found Abena, right? So you see, we have added it. We asked for 100,000 francs and we've done it just in 3 lines of code. Why? Because we know what we are doing, right? Then we can make it look, see, look at that table. That table, there's something about that table. That table is beautiful. We have this down and we have this up, right? Our table does not have that. And see, that table has these things, these beautiful things. That also are going up or down, but our table does not have it. We have to equally provide for our tables. So we're having this so far. We can search. When we click, it's organizing. Wow, great. We have this up here, we don't have it down. Good. That's why someone was asking the question, why do we do table head? We simply come here and do table. We simply come and do table foot. A head and a foot, right? We do T foot, that's all. We'll come, we'll have it down too. You see? So a table becomes long without going up or down, right? Now let's add our own styles up here. We'll come here again. We've not copied one library. When we come to CSS, it will tell us here's a library to copy. Oops. So we copy this library, copy, and we come here and add it here on the cool. We come to HTML. We add it just after our bootstrap. So we come here, we do this, and we come, we add. All these libraries are running, and then we refresh. Cool, our own has come, right? Wonderful. So we have nothing to envy from these guys again. You see, this is their own. You see, the small arrow. When we click the arrows to change. That so many things are running here. That's why you see they have arrows, right? So we have built our own PHP MyAdmin that we can now go and sell to whosoever needs it, right? I'm not saying you should take this and go and sell it. But if somebody wants to buy it, you sell. Take your money, make use of the money, buy your things, and yeah, just remember you have to give something to your teacher too, right? Okay, great. We have built something wonderful, beautiful. And the nice thing is, even on a mobile phone, see, on a mobile phone it will work and work well. See, let's put it on mobile. This on someone's mobile phone. Let's click on phone. This is how you look. Oh, no. We want it on a mobile phone, on a real phone. This on iPhone SE. Good. This is how we look on a mobile phone. Okay, we're having a problem here. We're having a problem. Let's fix it too. Surface. Let's put on a phone. Good. No. This is not a good phone. Samsung's a good phone. Great. See, but you see, there's something. Oh no, it has not. It has fixed it for us. Good. Let me see. No, it has not fixed it for us. We're having a problem. See, look at something. When he comes here, the fact that he can drag and it goes like this is not good, right? I mean, it should be stable and should fit to the size of the screen, right? So now to fix this is because our table is too big. You see, it's our table that is causing it. Our table is extending. So to fix this, we go back to HTML. HTML, where's our table? Just before our table, I hope I remember this code. It's okay, cool. Just before our table here, I come here and I write table responsive. Great, that should work. Have I refreshed? It's not refreshing. What's wrong? Our machine is not responding anymore. Okay. It's like thing has come. Good. Good. Now, cool. This is what I want to show you, bro. You see, our table is now shaking, but the whole page is not shaking. You see, so I can see my table properly, right? But the whole table is fixed, right? Alright, there's some error somewhere, but basic functionalities have been achieved. It works, and we have a cool table. We can keep adding data. Let's try to add more than 10 data and see how this will move from one and add another field, right? So come here rapidly. Let's add some people. Okay, there are names here already. So, oh my god, Bomo Larissa 675731671. Bomo mail.com. That makes 7. So this guy will keep counting for us. We just want to add 11. So come here as Cedric Yomo 675731677. Cedric mail.com. That's 8. We need another person again. Yango Felix 675731671. Yango mail.com.
That name I have coined.
I don't even know them. Let me add your name too. Bijou Ayafo 675731671. Bijou mail.com. That's 10. So the last one, Fi Collins. He played well yesterday, right? So put his name 675731671. He must not score to be a good player. Mail.com. Great. So now we've had 11 people. Now, so what will happen on our form as we are classifying first 10? You see, our form is getting long. So luckily we have a head up and a head down, right? But we'll come here, we see showing the first 10. Once we see the next person, we click here. It goes to the next person, right? You see? So we have a wonderful app that we can sell and make some money. So the objective here is not to sell and make some money, but the objective here for you is to understand how it works and be able to propose something better. See, there's one other functionality again we could add. Should we add something again? Should we? Or we'll leave it like this? We'll leave it like this. Okay. Thank you for your presence.